So wonderful to have you. How are you today, Chet?
Hello, Amanda. Absolutely delighted to be here and doing very well. Thank you.
Well, I understand you just had a birthday, so, congratulations on that. Another year around the sun.
Your sources are very good. I just finished that up last night, so it was a wonderful day.
Well, we have another thing to celebrate because you are this year's Outstanding Achievement Award winner for Digital Family Reunion, this big celebration that happens for the digital and tech community here in LA. This is the seventh year it's happening. That's so insane. So, are you excited about it? Are you going to join us?
Really, really excited and delighted and humbled, and really appreciate the great work being done by that terrific group of folks, and looking forward to the evening very, very much.
Well, it always tends to be a pretty fun evening. I've been there for every single one of them, so this will definitely, I think, be right up there with them. So
Good.
with DFR, they love to celebrate, Digital Family Reunion loves to celebrate people in the LA Tech community that have seen a few different iterations of things, so to speak, that have seen the different waves, that have seen people coming and going and technologies either moving along or disappearing. And what I find really interesting with Belkin is that you have been part of the LA tech scene rather quietly since the early 80s. Didn't you found Belkin in 1983?
Yeah, so one of the great
Wow.
things about LA is the wonderfully rich heritage we have with
Mhm.
tech going back from our very origins, and
Yeah.
so we've been at it for a little while now. Yeah, since
Just a
the
little while.
early '80s. So yeah, in our 31st or 32nd year now, I think. Yeah,
I think it's interesting because we have this whole wave of Silicon Beach now, right? And it's been going on for a couple of years, and a lot of times people only think about the space that they are in, the time that they are in. And I think some people would raise an eyebrow and say, "What? There was tech in LA in the early 80s?" So, what I'm fascinated by particularly is why did you choose to start Belkin here back then when really Silicon Valley was the place where everything was happening?
yeah. So I guess the first element of that was sort of done for me. Have my
Okay.
mom and dad to thank for that. I was
Thanks, Mom and
born and
Dad.
raised here. Yeah, exactly. Born and raised here. Although when my wife and I first met, she lived in Northern California. So
Really?
so we discussed that as an
Huh.
option. So maybe I have Citibank to thank for it next, because we worked to buy a home there, didn't qualify for the loan. So that was the second signal that
Interesting.
maybe I'm supposed to be in LA.
Huh.
And then as we began to just kind of research and dig in where it is we really wanted to be, we really gained a rapid appreciation for the depth of talent here. Most folks don't realize that there are more high tech jobs in LA than there are in Silicon Valley, and
Really?
yeah, we are
Huh.
just honored to be a
Okay.
small small part of high tech's huge success here.
Mm-hmm. And you've had the privilege of watching the tech scene grow and change over all of these years. And I love speaking with people like you to get that bigger picture. And I would love to know, um, what do you think of this latest wave? Is it a wave? Is it a trend? Is this another bubble? I mean, is there anything different about this latest, emergence of tech in Los Angeles over these last few years compared to the previous 25?
Yeah, so we overwhelmingly believe that the things just keep getting bigger, bolder, and badder all the time. And it happened for us in Southern California with the early roots in aerospace, and then in film, and
Hmm.
then in music. And
Do I have a
this
spot
is
on my
just
nose?
the yeah, right. Sorry about that. This is just the latest phase of terrific innovation and leading edge tech work here in Southern California,
Hmm.
and then specifically around PCs and software.
Okay.
That was a huge area here for us in with mainframes, and then as we started to get into a more consumer facing side of this in the early 80s, and so it cycles for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The things we think are really hot now will be a little more taken for granted, I
Yeah.
guess, in a few years. But there will keep being just a new wave and a new age of things that really empower us and are very, very exciting
Mm-hmm.
to us.
What do you say when people outside of LA ask you, what's the hottest thing there? Why is this suddenly exploding again? I mean, what's your short answer for them?
Well, the short answer is I think that we're very attuned to people here,
Okay.
and we're really into how people can be empowered
Mm-hmm.
and given tools that really bring them to life. So, if that's helping somebody educate their kids, great. If it's
Sure.
helping them to be more productive, great. If it's entertainment, great. And
Mm-hmm.
at the current current at the current time, it's all about being connected to one another and content. And there
Mm-hmm.
is no better base for content than in Southern California.
Absolutely. I mean, we do live in an interesting place. We're at the, heart of entertainment, which also means content, and then to have a tech scene that's building up around that, it seems to be a perfect marriage. And and I also think, you're right on it with the people and the connections. I mean, a lot of folks here tend to say that LA is the place where you will get those connections that you need because when someone is coming from out of town, immediately one person in LA says, "I'll introduce you to five people I know. What do you need?" Would you agree with that?
Overwhelmingly, I'm so. And our view on this is that it's all intertwined. It's all one thing. It's all
Yeah,
one being. And so it's just really super to be able to be here.
great. Now, the other thing that I think is great about the story about you and your parents and being raised here, you actually started Belkin out of your parents' garage. What is it about, these early startups back in the day being started out of a garage and you did it out of your parents' garage? Would you say the days of doing it that way are gone? I mean, is that more of the days of the rise of Apple and things like that? What would you say is the approach that you would give to startups now in terms of how to get started effectively?
Well, it certainly was a great start for us.
Mm-hmm.
Being young, thinking that absolutely anything is possible, being afraid of very, very little, and also be for all that responsibility stuff
Yeah.
starts, like a car payment, a mortgage payment, and all that
Oh,
fun
so much fun.
stuff. Yeah, right, right. And so I think that approach to things is as applicable and
Hmm.
as advantageous for folks now as it ever has been. And I don't think we're seeing any less of it. I
Okay.
think we're seeing more and more, and I think that we will keep seeing it over and over again.
Hmm. And also, the other another you have so many pieces from your life that are interesting here. Another one is that you didn't actually have a tech schooling. You actually went to school for history. Is that right?
That's right. It
Okay.
was a passion of mine and still is. And I think
Great.
it's been a really beneficial thing because it
Hmm.
helps to give me context. We're on a campus here. Even as I sit here, I'm looking out through my office window and I can see the hangar where Howard Hughes built the spruce goose.
Wow.
So for me, that kind of energy is still here in the air, and knowing that time and time again, when talent and a little bit of ambition and opportunity all collide, magical things can happen
Hmm.
if we're willing to work hard to make them happen.
Absolutely. And I think part of that has to do with attitude. And for instance, you grew up in a really hardworking class family, and I wonder if that contributed in a part. I also grew up in a small logging village where people worked in mills and they worked really hard their entire lives with one company like that. and it you didn't have much by way of money, for instance, and dealing with things like the stress of that startups face. I think they kind of go hand in hand. Would you say that having that kind of an upbringing helped you deal with stress and uncertainty and those sorts of things with starting Belkin?
It was my experience I'm sure. My mom and dad didn't talk about it a lot, but it
Sure.
was overwhelmingly obvious to me that they had very, very little
Hmm.
in the 30s, and the only way to get things done was to pour their heart and their sweat and some of the times their tears into making things happen. And I was hit with this feeling as a kid that, hey, if something's going to happen, it's going to be up to me to make that
Right.
happen. And I think that there was some kind of a resolve or commitment or something that formed there that served as a very critical basis for everything that has followed ever since then.
So in a way, like the way that you grew up was grooming you to be an entrepreneur more than anything, it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't think it was the intent,
No, of
but it
course
was
not.
absolutely the result.
Yeah.
And along the way, I got bit by the YMCA and other community service organizations. So this element of being of service to others and helping others
Sure.
also was a huge piece of it early.
Hmm.
And I found that the more work I do or we do to be of service to others, the more we get back from that as well. So it's a very positive, very virtuous cycle,
Hmm.
and we're really pleased to be a little part of it.
And a great message to remember, especially when you are the CEO of a company where pretty much every person in the world owns one of your products.
Yeah, we're really lucky in
Yeah.
that regard. We're blessed with an unbelievably great team here and have been honored by people where they give our experiences and products and solutions a shot. And
Yeah.
so we get our stuff in a lot of people's hands, makes it even more of a critical piece for us that those experiences are really good.
Hmm?
Otherwise, people have got a tendency to not come back.
Well, Belkin earbuds, routers, I mean, everything. I've seen, I might have some Belkin products just for the record, just to be completely transparent, folks. But anyway, one last thing that I really want to address because this gets more into just personality and decisions on that front. You are very much known in our community as being a very private man. So the fact that we're even talking right now is surprising me. So thank you for that. Um, I'm very curious if there is a reason why you choose to maintain a low profile, especially in a day and age where content, is out there about us on every social platform, and social media has sort of blown open the doors of our personal lives crossing over with our professional lives. So, as the CEO of a major consumer electronics company, is there a reason you've chosen to live your life this way? And would you suggest that other CEOs really contemplate how much of themselves that they share?
Yeah. So I think for me, it's not been about either putting myself first or even not putting myself first.
Okay.
It's been about getting our brands and what those brands stand for front and center.
Mm-hmm.
And so that for us is with the Belkin brand and then with the Linksys brand and now with the Wemo brand that
Right.
is all about smart home and connected home.
Mm-hmm.
And then outside of my workday, it's always been family first.
Sure.
And so you would have found me very front and center coaching youth soccer teams on the weekends, and that's a sort of the right place for me to be. If you spent a lot of time hiking the local trails around Lake Tahoe, you would see me front and center there.
Note to self.
So for me, um, great brands are all about great teams and great experiences, and the
Mm-hmm.
emphasis should be put on the people making those things happen. And then the other thing we work hard to put front and center are kids, just generally speaking, who are
Sure.
not getting a good shot at a super public education. So we also
Right.
spend a little bit of time and effort working hard to get them front and center too.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing that is more of a gratifying moment for me as when the spotlight is not on me, but it's on the brand that has been built by these great folks here, or it's on a school that really supports teachers and kids who otherwise might not get a great education now are. What a wonderful thing for any one of us to
Yeah.
be able to celebrate. I'm boring.
Absolutely. You are not. Not at all. I'm fascinated by all of this. And actually, it just makes me realize how fortunate we are to celebrate you and put you in the spotlight for a moment at Digital Family Reunion. So I think that about wraps it up. We really look forward to seeing you at DFR and to celebrate all of the wonderful things that you started with Belkin with your team. But it's okay to put you in the spotlight once in a while, too.
Well, I'm happy to be a face for some of that work in this little moment. So thank you very, very much for hosting me, and I look forward to seeing you in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone, make sure you visit digitalfamilyinc.com. Digital Family Reunion is happening on December 10th. It's the 7th annual Digital Family Reunion celebration. So make sure you get your tickets and we will see you there. Thank you so much. Chet Pipkin, the founder and CEO of Belkin, and I'm Amanda Coulong with TechZulu.com.